Hello, Bashar.
And a you good day.
Thank you.
The vote is in, and it is...
5 laws. 5 laws is fine to me. I mean, I think if making it officially a law will help people remind themselves of this fact,
Yes.
then that sounds like a useful thing to do.
Thank you. What else would you like to discuss?
Well, I have a few things on my mind that I've been wondering about for a while.
All right, we'll start with the one that you believe is most exciting for you to discuss.
Most exciting.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm a little confused.
Oh, just a little?
Yes, because some of the channelings of yours that I've watched,
Yes.
where you have talked about how our purpose is to pursue our highest excitement. You've said it today as well.
Yes.
In my case, I've recently discovered that what makes me most excited would be to build or create something, perhaps a technology or a startup company that would challenge and potentially change the existing power structure that serves to benefit a few number of people and causes detriment to many people.
All right. Now,
At the same
challenge
time,
them, perhaps you will. You will never change them, because the idea is that you never change the world you're in. You change yourself, and you shift to another parallel Earth that's already more representative of the change you've made within yourself. The old Earth still exists with all the unchanged people on it. It's just now that you've shifted to another parallel Earth where different versions of people exist that are more amenable to the vibration that you prefer.
that was exactly why I was confused.
Yes.
So that seems to mean that trying to change the world is not a good use of.
No. Changing yourself is all you need to do, because then your actions will be a sample, an example for others, and you will shift yourself to a reality where others are more in alignment with you, bit by bit by bit, at whatever pace is comfortable for you. But everyone in every world will still pick up upon the possibility that they can do that too.
And so this idea of shifting to a different reality, are there limits to this? For example, someone who is incarcerated in prison, can they shift themselves into a reality in which they are free?
Yes, of course. But that means they have to have a deep understanding of what they chose in the first place that created the reality they're in, so they can understand exactly how it is they need to change themselves in order to shift to a completely different experience. And again, remember that it may not always serve them to shift if they believe they are exploring something that benefits them by being incarcerated. Just being incarcerated as an idea in and of itself is not necessarily automatically a negative thing. It may actually serve many positive purposes based on the theme they are exploring. So you can't necessarily just assume that it's a given that they should do so, but yes, they could.
Okay.
Remember, it's not about whether something is possible. Anything is possible. The question is it probable or is it relevant to the theme you are exploring? Because many things are not relevant to the theme you are exploring in this life. Even though they might be, quote unquote, possible, it is highly unlikely you may do certain things if they're not relevant. Does that help?
That's something to digest.
Oh, all right.
I'm also curious about something somewhat unrelated. Is it in human nature to things like greed, the desire for power, the desire to dominate others?
No, it is in human learning, not human nature.
And I would put war in that same.
Yes.
Part of that same
It
question.
is not really in your human nature in the way that you are asking the question.
Okay.
Yes, of course, there are the abilities to choose those kinds of things in the physical reality that you are experiencing. In that sense, you could say, certainly it is within the nature of the structure of the existence. But in the sense that you are actually a spirit being, it is not in that nature. And in expressing yourself as a human, while you may take on the probabilities or possibilities that such expressions can exist, and in that sense you could say, well, all right, it's part of the human potential structure. It isn't in your nature automatically to go in that direction. It's still a choice based on learning.
So have I chosen a reality in which war exists and all these
Yes, of
ugly things
course.
exist?
Because you are looking to transform. And therefore, in order to transform into light, you have to start with the dark. Otherwise, there's nothing to transform from or to. That's the nature of physical reality, is to experience the concept of the transformation of polarity in that way. Yes?
Okay.
Because that's a power. That power of transformation, that power of transcendence is an experience, a valid experience. And unless you start in the dark, you can't switch on a light. Unless you have used the power to forget, you can't remember who you really are. Does that help?
It does.
Is that sufficient?
Well, I also have another question, but I don't want to, take too much of your time.
Out of curiosity,
Yes.
what is it?
Okay. Okay. I'm wondering about who created human beings, how and why, and how, if so, does it fit into our conventional knowledge of human evolution from primates?
There was a naturally evolved hominid that grew naturally on your planet up to a certain point. Then certain branches of that hominid species had their genetics altered by an extraterrestrial society that led to the development of what you now understand yourselves to be as human beings. However, not all branches of the original evolved hominid were changed. The ones that kept developing naturally, evolving naturally on your planet, ultimately became the beings you now know as Sasquatch. So if your genetic material had not been altered by an extraterrestrial civilization, you would all be Sasquatch naturally.
And is that extraterrestrial civilization the Anunnaki?
Yes.
And why did they do this?
It was an experiment for a variety of reasons, but it also on a higher level has to do with the idea of the evolution of consciousness in creation. And it's still going on. You are still, in a sense, altering yourselves, and with the aid and assistance of others also being altered. You are slowly but surely becoming what we call the sixth hybrid race.
The sixth hybrid race.
Yes, we are one of the hybrid races. There are 4 others. You are becoming the 6th, and once you have fully developed into the 6th hybrid race in approximately 1,000 of your years, altogether we will start the journey toward becoming the 7th hybrid race, which will be unlike anything that has ever existed.
Wow.
Does that answer your question sufficiently for now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.